what is the craziest thing you have ever experienced while traveling? Of course, many, but I think the story I'm going to tell now is also funny, but also a bit embarrassing. Sure, you may never know. You have to throw up or
Yeah.
middle in the podcast. Oh, you can create some sound effects, like all sound effects.
You know, when I was actually researching the whole topic around the podcast, with the panels, with the microphones and everything, um, these are condenser mics. So
Yeah,
there is a
condensed.
different,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And these ones, they're not the ones that they use for special sound effects. Yeah,
No. They
yeah,
have really like this high-tech microphones and pretty expensive.
exactly. So I'm very, very happy to have you on my podcast, and we have plenty to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So if you want, you can start a little bit talking about your journey. I mean, just introduce it to the audience, and to me as well.
To the listeners and to the people who watch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. I'm very excited because it's also one of my first podcasts, and I'm still very excited to see you again because I haven't seen you for the last 4 months, something
I
like
would
that.
say 5.5.
5.5.
Almost
so
6.
Imagine how much we have to talk about. I think we can easily fill like 4 episodes or something.
We'll see.
Yeah. No. Well, let's say that I have been traveling for 6 months right now. I don't want to really say that I'm really a world traveler, but I started to travel, and I started traveling six months ago in November, and since then I'm just having a break actually right now in the Netherlands, just to see family and friends, and to see you, of course, because you told me, I set up a podcast. I would like to know your stories.
And actually, for those of you that don't know, and probably all of you actually, Danny is also the reasons why I decided to kind of, start a podcast and do everything that I've done so far. I mean, he was kind of the courage behind it because he's also, you're in the field of editing and also recording and that kind of media world. So I thought there is a person who will definitely help me with actually creating all of this and can give me some important expertise and.
That's why I was excited as well, because when I was 15, 16, I started to make beats, and then I told my parents, like, they had like a small garage back in the garden, and I said, yo, mom, dad, I'm creating beats, and I would like to make like a hobby studio. And then I also started to involve in a lot of knowledge and experience in audio, and had a microphone as well, made beats, and then I invited as well like artists and rappers and singers, and they came to my studio, and then I did that for like 3, 4, 5 years, which was actually one of the best times in my life, and gained a lot of knowledge and experience in audio.
Yeah, also for because I lived with you in Rotterdam in your apartment for 2 months.
Yes, you did.
A year and a half ago, and you also have a studio in your current apartment. I mean, it's in the basement, right?
Yes, that's in the basement.
It's an amazing studio, I would say. It's covered in isolation. All of it. It's very professional made.
Yeah, and the whole setup was actually in the like barn, the garage of my parents' garden, and I just couldn't get it loose, and just took the whole thing back to my new apartment in Rotterdam, and actually since then I'm not really doing a lot of things anymore, so that's why I decided to do something else, and then I got involved in video editing and film work.
Bro, the video editing is an amazing world. Since I began, because this is the second episode I'm filming, and you're the second guest officially, and to be honest, the world of editing is something that goes beyond what I have imagined. I have massive respect for people who edit like those very, very hard videos. I mean, you don't even think about it when you watch a video on YouTube. You don't think how much work is behind those transitions, the syncing between the audio and the video. And I have gained a lot of respect for people who edit videos.
That's the beauty of art, because I think the film industry is art, editing, filming, and for lots of people who like movies and films, it's entertainment and to relax and to calm down, especially when you watch a movie. You don't want to think about other things. You just want to
True.
go with the story, and
True that.
that's just amazing.
I also think it's talent, because when you're editing something, I believe you need to take a lot of decisions. Okay, you have, for example, 50 different transactions, deep to black. We talked about cross
The
dissolve.
effects, transitions,
Yeah, exactly. And you have those. How can I say, those sets that, for example, Adobe is giving you, to work with, but you choose what to put in your video. So I guess it's also, you need to have talent for those stuff. People edit
Yes.
just cutting scenes, but really editing, it's something very, very big.
You're telling a story, and it's actually your decision how to tell that story to someone else who's watching. So you decide what the people are watching and what kind of story you want to tell them.
True.
So you actually have kind of control of the film or the movie.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty in the movie, because you decide what the people who are watching it, how they, what kind of emotions they have with it. You can also music is also very important.
Yeah.
In a movie or a film or a video clip. So that's just two different worlds, music and video, combining together and making a masterpiece. So that's
exactly
beauty.
And here I think we can make a great transition to the main part of our conversation, which of course is going to be your journey and everything. But I'll definitely leave your Instagram page.
Yes. I'm gonna have some shout outs finally.
The million viewers are gonna see your profile. But his Instagram page is amazing. He will talk a little bit more about it, that he's traveled the world in the past couple of months. But the editing, because every single country you visit, you make an edit. You make a vlog from the best places you visited, and those are amazing. I mean, we're talking with my best friend, Jiman, with my girlfriend. We've been talking a lot about those vlogs.
Oh, really?
Yes, and we've been sharing it with, those vlogs, we share between each other, look at where Danny is. And it's the cinematic experience of them, it's amazing, really.
Yeah, because I quit my job because I wanted to travel. So I worked for a company for 4 or 5 years, also as video editor and cameraman in the automotive industry. So I was making mostly commercials and promotional videos and instruction videos, that kind of things. And because I'm doing this already for 10 years, filming and making videos, I was like, if I start to travel, I want to capture things, and I don't want to forget about them. And that's actually, since I'm 15, 16, also the moment when I started to make music, started to combine everything, music and video. So I was like, how am I going to capture my things, and also for myself, just not to forget things example, when I go to the beach. I mean, you are going to a lot of beaches when you travel, but I want just to remember that specific beach. So if you just have a shot of that beach for 3 seconds, you instantly remember, that was that beach and I did there. I was with these people, and I just remember everything. So I decided to buy a GoPro, and of course I have also a lot of old editions of the GoPro, the older versions. So I decided to buy a new GoPro, and I took it with me on travel, and not really specific for other people to see, but I think mostly for myself. And Instagram and other apps like Facebook or I don't know, whatever, Snapchat, is just a good way. It was a good way for me to show people, back home, friends, family, what I'm doing. So when you film, you make a lot of shots. When you go back home, out of my experience, you're not going to look at every shot individually. So that's why I'm just combining all those shots as a compilation, making a 2-3 minute video. And you can watch that easily with friends and family and show what you have done.
Exactly. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about the countries you've visited. And to be honest, just to add on to this, about what you said about the vlogs and the fact that you can easily remember where you've been, and those things, you don't keep all of them on the back of your mind. You're really... I would say, I don't like the word influencer because of what the Bulgarian media has done with it. The influencers are those...
Yes.
Yeah. and but you're really influencing people to want to go travel. That's why you're doing, and all
Yes.
those. I guess that's why the word influencer has become a profession, because you're really influencing people to go into this industry of traveling and and experiencing new things around the world. And when I watch your videos, I always say to my friends and to my family, of course, shall we go there?
Yeah,
There are
exactly.
a lot of cool stuff that we can do, and a lot of beautiful places that we can visit.
Yes.
So you're also influencing your audience. Doesn't matter if it's your friends.
Without me knowing, actually,
Exactly.
unconsciously, because
Mm-hmm.
before I traveled, I of course did some things on Instagram, and I started to do actually more with Instagram when I was traveling. And of course, I posted all my videos and photos for family and friends, where I'm going and what I'm doing, but without like thinking as a goal, like I want to make people how to say. It was not my goal to like be an influencer, what you said, because you hate the word influencer. But I also, while I traveled, I got messages from people I didn't know, and they started texting me like, "Hey, I seen you have been to Norway. Like, how is it there? What is it like? Like, where do I have to go? What's the temperature? What season?" And yeah, that was actually like a moment for me, like, oh wait, maybe I'm actually posting nice things, and for people who are interested to travel.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, you said that you're influencing people subconsciously.
Yes.
I think this is the difference between being an influencer, the word I don't like, and being an influencer. You're doing it subconsciously. You're doing it by sharing your experience. You're not trying to make me buy this product because.
No, not at all.
You know,
No.
exactly. So let's talk a little bit more about the
Let's go
countries
in
and
depth.
everything. Start from the beginning. I want to know why, where, when. I want to know everything.
All right. So a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think, let's say 3 years ago, I decided to travel as well. I wanted to see more of the world, all the countries, and I got influenced by family. I've had a lot of family, like cousins as well, who traveled, nieces who traveled, and they always came back. They always came back a bit different, and they had so many nice, beautiful stories to tell.
Yeah.
And also, of course, influenced by other people on Instagram, as example, like, wow, the world is so beautiful, right?
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah, and I was like, I'm working now, which is fine, which is good. I mean, to have a stable income, that's all fine, but I'm always having on the back of my mind that I still have to work 30, 40 years.
Mhm.
So why not to travel for like months or even years if you have to work for the coming 30, 40 years? And then 3, 4 years ago, I told my parents, I said, like, I remembered I was still sitting in the restaurant.
Mhm.
I said, Mom, Dad, about 3, 4 years, I want to travel. So I started to save money. And a couple of years later, I found the business I worked for. I also saved some money. And then I think after 4 years, 3 years saving money, having my own business, saving extra money, it was for me time to travel. And even middle in the pandemic, I still wanted to give up like everything to travel. So I quit my job. I sold my car. I rented out my apartment in Rotterdam, and I just decided to go. And that's like half a year ago. And then it was like in November, so winter time. I was still in Europe, and I really wanted to see some very nice countries in Europe first because I was close, and I also knew Christmas time and New Year's is coming, and that was for me a pretty important reason for me to be back in Netherlands. So I went to Scotland first, and then from Scotland I went to Iceland, stayed 10 days in Iceland, and then I went to Norway, from Norway to Poland, and then from Poland I went to Bulgaria. And then at Christmas time and New Year's Eve I was 2 weeks back home, and after 2 weeks I booked another flight to Mexico. Mexico. 4th of January I went to Mexico, stayed 4 weeks in Mexico, and then Costa Rica 3 weeks, and then 5 weeks Colombia, And then a friend of me came to Mexico again, and then another 5 weeks in Mexico, and now I'm back having a break.
Wow. I mean, yeah. I
That
mean,
was a long breath.
yeah, exactly. I'm lucky enough to have amazing parents who've been giving me the opportunity to travel. But I've traveled in Europe, most of the countries in Europe, and I've been to the Asian part of Turkey. So this is what traveling is. Really experiencing different cultures, because I've experienced Europe. Europe has plenty of different cultures, but you've done really world traveling. 'Cause at the beginning, you said that you wouldn't say that you're traveling the world, but this is exactly, in my opinion, what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely, because you travel to different continents.
Exactly.
And my first plan was to go to Asia first, but
Mhm.
it was mid of the pandemic and it was pretty close with a lot of quarantines. And now it's lifted, so now I'm back in the Netherlands just to do a stop. And yeah, I'm still thinking to travel to Asia, like Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, because I just discovered how beautiful the world is. So many nice places, so many nice cultures, food, and especially people.
People, yeah.
People are so beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
like woman, man, and just the people behind the culture is very, very special for me. It's really an eye-opener for me since I travel, how different people are in the world, but also in a way very beautiful.
I've known you since I was 10. So this is half of my life, I'm 21 right now. This is more than half of my life, my conscious life, let's say, because when you're 7, you don't really, get to think about who you know and who you don't.
Yes.
So most of my life I known you, and I've never seen you because this is the first time. Today is the first time I've seen you after 6 months.
That's why I'm so excited,
Exactly. And I've never seen you so, I would say, relaxed. I can see it in your eyes. And also, I would say, uplifted.
Yes.
Yes, because
Excited. Yeah.
exactly, you're full of energy.
I'm full of energy. Yes.
Yeah. Elaborate on that. Did the people that you met are the reason for this, or how does it work? What do you
Well,
think?
it's you also have to keep in mind that what I'm doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's a dream. 3-4 years ago, it became a dream for me to quit everything and to travel around the world.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm walking on a dream.
There is a song.
There's some walking on a dream. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm just happy that that I'm able to travel right now and to accomplish my dream, what I have now. I mean, of course, I have many dreams, but this is the dream what I have now. So I'm middle in the dream. I'm dreaming, and most of the dreams are happy and nice, So it is the experience when you travel is very difficult to explain to other people who haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I discovered the first time when I came back, around Christmas time in December.
Yeah.
I was traveling for 1.5 months, and I came back and I was like, wow, even the countries in Europe. I mean, Europe also has a lot to offer. But I also noticed that over here we are living, especially in the Netherlands, we are pretty people who like to rush. I mean, not really like to rush, but we are rushed people, stressed.
Yeah.
Everything is pretty chaotic. And I came back, and that was actually for me the first time that I discovered and noticed, like, wow, we're here in the Netherlands also living in a pretty chaotic country and all stressed, and the friends and family around me just working, keep on working, and I was really in another mood, and I was like, this is not what I want yet, because someday I have to go back. I have to go back to the Netherlands probably, but now I just feel like that I'm not ready for it yet. So after 2 weeks, I really, really felt different, and I also told my parents about that, and actually after 2 weeks, I told my parents, I said, Mom, Dad, I have to go away again. I don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of the world. I want to see more. But of course, that's what I have been saving money for and already wanted for many years. So then after 2 weeks in Netherlands, I went to Mexico.
Damn. I mean, growing up with you, that might sound weird, but I've grown up with you. Uh, I've really looked up to you um, because of the fact that you were always a person who worked towards achieving his dream, you know. And
Yes.
I can definitely say congratulations because you're living it right now. And you have no idea how happy I am, and you really deserve that. And yeah, massive respect for what you're doing, really.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to travel the world the same way you do it, and hopefully in the future I have the same idea. And I really can see now because I think in the previous episode, I don't know in what sequence I'll put the episodes on, but in the previous episode with Živomir,
Yes.
we talked about how different cultures actually shape you in different way. I can see how different cultures in such a short period of time shaped you in a more complete individual.
Oh yes, I believe in that.
Yeah,
As well.
definitely. But tell me more about the generic stuff. What was the most beautiful one? What was your favorite one? What was, I would say, no, there is not the worst, but you know,
No, but
not
it's
the
also not the most beautiful.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, every country has something special. Also, every culture has something special. Um, you know, like I told you before, I traveled first in Europe, and when I went to Iceland, Iceland is also just really another world. I mean, it's a volcanic island actually, and this this island is just full of power of Mother Nature. I've never felt Mother Nature so strong as over there. Like the cold, the wind, the snow, the black beaches, the volcanoes. Just the atmosphere is very unique over there, and I never experienced that before. Um, I when I traveled in Europe, I haven't stayed for a long time in the countries I visited. I stayed more weeks in Mexico, Costa Rica, and Colombia. And I must say that when I arrived in Mexico, it really took me a couple of days to realize like where I am, you know, what I have done, you know, where am I? And I was not really nervous, and I also didn't really felt alone. That's what we also talked about, because you always meet people. But just the you know, this is what I mean. For me, it's very difficult to explain how it's really like because sometimes you have to experience it yourself. So when I arrived in Mexico, as example, I mean, I've also traveled many times to Eastern Europe, so let's example Bulgaria, and I've been there many times, and I already know how it is to be in a bit more poor country than, as example, the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And it was not really a big of a shock of me when I see, as example, people driving on a motorcycle without helmet, as example, or with driving with children in middle on the motorcycle. But it's just another world, not just other nature, other food, people who are open-minded, living outside, because you know those countries it's very hot, like between 30-40 degrees Celsius. So people are really living different than here in Europe. So yeah, it just changed me because I also meet a lot of people, a lot of internationals. Surprisingly, a lot of Dutch people were traveling, so I also met a lot of Dutch people. But I really like to meet other people around the world. I met people from the US, people from Canada, people from also Europe a lot, you know, German, Norway, Sweden. So yeah, it's just very special to experience these moments with people you actually don't know. And you're a very good environment, so you have a lot of talks together. But sometimes because you also make a lot of friends, actually, you know, within a very short period of time. Yeah. It's also hard because you always go different ways at the moment. And when you split up, it's also hard to say like kind of goodbye. Because you experience so many nice things together, so many stories, but you're probably gonna never see this person again.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course, we live in one world, we live in one planet. You can always meet each other again, but the chance is most likely you're gonna never see each other anymore. So
Wow.
that's also for me, because friendship is for my in my life is very important. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so after a couple of weeks or days traveling with someone and we have a good connection with, to say goodbye, like it's just a very strange feeling. I'm never going to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty strange. I mean, but you know, you do that the first time, second time, third time, but still after like maybe 100 people, you still have like the same feeling. Like, yeah, I really would like to see you again. And now I'm back. I met people around the world, and with some people, I'm really like, yo, I'm going to your country, and I'm just gonna search you, and we're gonna have a beer on the terrace again, because some people are really really nice and kind.
That's amazing to listen to because the moment you said that you never know if you're gonna meet this person again, that's after let's say you meet one person, you know go to your different paths, then you meet another. That must be y- this way you learn how to cope with those feelings when you separate paths with this one. This is the moments and these are the experiences that make you wiser, right?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Also emotionally, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
I also experienced like I met someone in Norway, an Irish guy called Steven, and I met him in Bergen, which is on the coast of Norway, and we had a very nice time together in Bergen. And after a couple of days, we had to say goodbye, of course. And then I was in Medellin in Colombia, and we follow each other on Instagram, of course. And I see on his Insta stories that he's in Colombia, in Medellin.
What?
Yeah, so I texted him. I said, "Yo, dude, are you in Medellin? Let's meet up together."
Really?
And just unbelievable. On the other side of the world, like 6 months later, I meet him again. And that kind of things I experienced many times. So like traveling in Costa Rica, and you meet. I met a British guy in San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, and like 2 weeks later, I am going down from the Airbnb room I rented. I go down and I see him downstairs looking at the map. He was called TJ, and I saw TJ looking at the map. I said, "Yo, TJ, is that you?" Yeah, that's me. And then you know, it's just you fly each other in the arms, and you're just happy to see each other. And you know, some things are maybe coincidence, or maybe some things is destiny.
There is no coincidence in such things. Have you watched the movie I Origins?
No, I don't think so.
It's
Maybe
about
you've talked
ice
about
pattern.
it.
You should watch it. But those things are no coincidence. I swear. This, what you told me, I always. Sometimes there are moments in life where you feel like you're in a simulation. You know.
Matrix.
These are moments like that one.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, but let's skip to the, because I also have some funny parts to tell. You know, when you travel, you experience a lot of things,
Yeah.
and I just would like to, because when you know, I've been 3 weeks now, 2 weeks in the Netherlands now, and of course a lot of people are asking me stuff. And one of the questions they ask like, yo, what is the craziest thing you have ever experienced while traveling? Of course, many, but I think the story I'm going to tell now is also funny, but also a bit embarrassing. So I was in Medellin, in Colombia. It's one of my last stops in Colombia. Actually, an amazing city. I think one of my favorites, by the way. And every Tuesday, a club organized Gringo Tuesday.
Gringo Tuesday.
Yes, it was, I think, Vintrash or something, what the club called. And they had like 3 levels. And every level, every floor, they put it on different music, reggaeton, hip hop, and techno.
Yeah. Different.
So yeah, we went with a group of our hostel, like 6 or 8 people. We went to the club, and I think 4 or 5 in the morning we decided to walk back. And this club is like on 10 minutes walking distance, and it's just to be safe. It's just wise to walk together back to the hostel. It's because it was on the main street.
I see.
So we walked back, and I was walking in front with another Dutch guy, and I see on the other side of the street, I see a prostitute. I see like passing the street because he saw us, passing by, and he decided to walk in front of us. And she was walking in front of us. She put it up her skirt. It was like Afro-Colombian, so you can imagine how big the moon was.
Okay.
So yeah, everyone was like, you know, I mean, I was a bit tipsy, of course. I was not really drunk, but I was still, still clear thinking.
Yeah.
So she was putting up her skirt, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, okay, well, we're not interested, you know." But okay, she turned around and she looked at me and she put it up her shirt like this.
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, we were kind of shocked, you know. We said you're not interested. But yeah, go away."
That's a high level of marketing and self-sale.
Yes, but I think
Okay.
she was under influence. I mean, maybe she used drugs or alcohol.
Oh,
or
I
something.
see. Okay.
So what did she do? She looked in my eyes. She came to me and she put her arms around me like that. So she grabbed my other hand. She put my hand on one of her boobs, and with her other hand, she grabbed my balls. She grabbed my balls.
So you've been raped.
Yeah, it's sort of a way. And I tried to push her off, of course, but the other people, walking behind me, they found it pretty funny, you know? And I said, "Look, guys, help me." And I tried to push her off, of course, like, "I'm sorry, I'm not interested." And then I think, like, after 10, 15 seconds, I managed to push her off.
10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
Long time.
Yeah, probably. That's a long time, 10, 15 seconds in that situation. So I pushed her off, and I, just to be sure, checked my pockets.
What?
So my wallet was still on my left pocket, but my phone was gone on my right pocket. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it was like right after I pushed her off. So I was pissed. I turn around, and I see her walking away, and I was like, "Hey," psst, you know. So she turned around and she saw me walking towards her because I wanted to take back my phone. And I think she thought that I was still interested in her somehow. So she also walked back. And I said, like, in my professional Spanish, like, "Mi teléfono ahora," you know, like my telephone right now.
Yeah.
And she had my phone in her hands. She had my phone and she put it back down here, you know where, at her vajayjay. And I was like, "What are you doing?" So, yeah, I didn't hesitate. And I was like, looking around. I'm like, fuck it. I'm taking my phone. So I grabbed my phone and I turned around and I walked away.
What the fuck? Wow.
Yes. So
So don't go to a prostitute in Colombia. Is that
yes.
why?
So I heard, like days after, many men were robbed in this way.
Oh,
The day after, I came back to my hostel in the night and I saw a Scottish guy in front of our hostel, like lost. He said, "Yo, can you help me find me my hotel on the navigation of your phone? Because I just got robbed by a prostitute. His wallet and his phone was gone."
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Different world.
Different world, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never
Wow.
been in such cheap country, and not really like cheap, but it's cheap in money. You know what I mean? Like in Colombia, I mean it's very poor as well, of course. You see people like homeless people sleeping on the streets on the concrete, without like cartons or like pillows or like sheets, and you just have to walk around them, middle of the streets. And I was in Colombia as well, in Bogota, the capital of Colombia. I bought some bread from the supermarket and I walked out, and like a couple of minutes later I felt something heavy because I was holding my bread in my hand, something heavy on my bread. I was looking, I saw a sweet little girl holding the bread, trying to like steal it, and I was like, what is happening? Like you see a lot of poor and a lot of homeless people, and of course in every country you have homeless people, but there is like really feel like an overflow of people who live in the poor. And for me, of course, that changes you because you really start to appreciate things back home.
Wow. And you really there's one more way that you're being influenced by this travel of yours, because you've never thought about that people live this way and that people would be desperate to steal your bread in order to survive. Because
I understand.
I guess here we're also talking about survival instincts. I mean, can you really blame them about this?
Exactly.
It's the world, different world, the
Very
world they live
different.
in. Wow, Colombia.
Yes.
Colombian
Colombia.
girls?
Colombian girls, I think the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you maybe compare it to European, I mean, of course, in
Well,
European.
let's not underestimate.
Yeah, no. In Europe, we have very
Bulgarian ladies are also
Bulgarian
very
ladies also
beautiful.
very beautiful, the best
Italian.
in Europe. No, if you compare it, like as example where I've been to, like as example to Mexico and Costa Rica, like Mexico also pretty ladies, but Colombia, really really beautiful woman with a lot of beauty, natural beauty.
Natural beauty.
Because I think I told you in the supermarket today,
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of women walking with nice black straight long hair almost to the ass, and I asked like a Colombian local like why is that, and he said there's a sign of beauty here in Colombia.
Oh,
And even the father and the parents are even encouraging the woman, the ladies, just to have long hair.
so if they have long hair in Colombia, long straight black hair is a sign of health.
Not really health, but more of beauty.
Ah, beauty.
Yeah,
Okay.
beauty.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, and yeah, of course. I mean, here in Europe, I mean, of course, I've had an ex from Bulgaria, which is your niece. And yeah, I mean, I've been many times to Bulgaria, and also Bulgaria, one of my favorite countries in Europe. Also,
Bulgaria is
beautiful.
an amazing country. Yeah. I don't believe that we Bulgarians, at least for those who are watching and from Bulgaria, I don't think that we realize how beautiful our country is. And I don't think that we appreciate this fact. We need to give it more attention. We need to visit more places in Bulgaria, and we need to travel more, because there are so many amazing places in Bulgaria that I know of, and I've never been there, and they're one hand away from me, from my
Yes.
city.
But I think that's not only in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Depends where. Also, it doesn't matter your nationality, because here I'm Dutch. I'm living in the Netherlands my whole life. I'm 27 right now, and I've never been to like the north province, most northern province of the Netherlands, like Friesland and Groningen,
Yeah.
which a lot of people say is also very beautiful. But also here in the Netherlands, I haven't seen enough beautiful places. I mean, it's more likely just to go to another country to see more beautiful places somehow for people.
True. We've talked about this in the car today. By the way, the car, amazing. We'll talk about it. But we've talked about in the car today that the Netherlands, I believe, at least it's my personal opinion. I don't know, you're Dutch, you'll tell me what you think. But I believe that the Netherlands, when it's sunny, which is 2 months a year, it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. I believe that it's, at least for my taste, I believe it's very beautiful when it's sunny, but the weather here makes it, the public opinion to be different.
Oh, you have been living here now for 7 years, right? So,
Yeah.
yes, it's not the country to visit for the weather, but I think lots of people know that. But what I like about the Netherlands, and I can also appreciate that right now because I've been traveling, is that we really have 4 seasons. I mean, still, in the past probably more because of the global warming, but you really feel when it's autumn, you really feel when it's winter, you really feel when it's summer. And when it's summer, which is a couple of months in the year, Dutch people appreciate the sun hours. I mean, you said in my car, like when you see Dutch people enjoying the sun, they put back their head and they close their eyes and they just enjoying every minute of the sun.
They're like solar panels.
Like solar panels, yes. So yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if it's really the most beautiful country in the world, but we appreciate Dutch people. Appreciate the sun. I mean, we are close to Scheveningen right now, which is a really huge big beach, and it's pretty good weather right now. So if you go to the beach right now, it will be probably full of white, pale Dutch people.
This is, by the way, the most tanned I've ever seen him. Like,
Yeah, look at this. Yeah.
I'm even like,
Finally.
which is, I'm generally speaking, I'm not that like, I'm not very tanned.
That's why I put a white shirt, so I look more tanned.
Yeah,
You know?
cool. But yeah, but my dad loves tanning. I'm
Which-
telling you, you know, remember him? He's always chill here, you know. With
Yes.
you know, so
Yeah, he likes the sun as well. But yeah, talking about weather. I mean, I went in the wintertime also to the coldest countries in Europe. I didn't mind because I knew I was not going to those countries for the weather, but just for culture and just to see the landscapes and the people. I had like recently a girl texted me, a girl I didn't know, I think she was from China or something. She said, "Hey, I've seen you have been traveling and I wanted to ask you, what is the best time to go to Norway?" And I was like, okay, those things you can also look up on the internet, but I think like summertime is beautiful, but wintertime is also beautiful. Actually, every season of the year can be beautiful. It has like this different charms. When I was in Iceland, I was pretty lucky with the days, and that's also what I just told you. I never experienced Mother Nature as strong as in Iceland, bro. I have experienced storms like never before. I've seen waves, like I'm sure it was 15-20 meters, and I was even there when a girl like died in the waves, like a wave captured her. A Chinese girl, she wanted to take selfies, and the wave captured her on the back, and they didn't find her anymore. Also, meanwhile, a tour. I mean, those waves were massive, and they were
so
just
no joke.
No joke. That's really no joke. And they exploded on the beach, and it's just like very astonishing to see nature in a different way.
Wow, I really understand what you're saying when you began talking about your journey, that you can't really express it. I mean, I won't really understand what you're not fully, but if I haven't really experienced it myself, because stuff like that, like she really died, like they didn't find her?
5 days before
Wow.
I was on that beach. Like that was the south of Iceland, the Black Beach.
It's amazing place. At
Yes,
least
it's amazing, beautiful place. I think you can also see it on my videos on Instagram. And at that moment, the tour, the people who were doing the tour, they just said from this line you cannot go further, because a couple of days ago they took a Chinese girl, which was 22, 21.
Oh.
And that's just lots of people underestimate Mother Nature.
No joke.
So no jokes.
By the way, we're planning my best friend to go to Iceland this
Yes,
summer.
told
I
me.
told you about it, so I might be a suitable time to ask you about some tips and tricks.
Oh yes.
Timane, sushi.
Dawaj.
Actually, he's Bulgarian. Your Bulgarian is better than my Dutch, by the way. So I would like to say that his Bulgarian is. Okay, I'm always joking that it's fluent. It's not fluent, but it's
I still like to talk Bulgarian
Very,
because
very
I like
good,
the language. So why not?
okay. So tell me about Iceland. Like,
So Iceland is also very expensive to keep in mind. I stayed there 10 days, and I stayed in hostels, and so you can also meet people, but you can also stay at a place for cheaper than in a hotel. I remember that I was in Reykjavik, so the capital.
yeah.
And I was at a bar on Friday, Saturday night, and decided to order a beer. And I ordered typical Icelandic whiskey. And I got the bill, and the bill was 28 euros.
What? For a small whiskey? Big whiskey?
Small whiskey and a beer. Norway, as example, is like the same price as in Iceland, I think. 10 euros for a beer.
Wow.
So
Why-
Iceland expensive.
Why is that though? Do you think it's because of the supply chain? Because just generally speaking,
It's an island. Iceland.
exactly. Yeah, it's
So
harder to transport goods there.
yes, exactly. So yeah, Reykjavik, the capital. From there, you can do many things. I stayed 10 days in Reykjavik, and from there I traveled to other places I wanted to go. Because you have a lot of tours going from Reykjavik to the nice places. So that's what I can recommend you.
I see. Okay. We're really want to plan it like a road trip. And we really want to rent a car and go to the south, which is
Yes.
probably the last destination that we want to visit, because we drew it on the map together, and we will have 9 days, which is almost 10 like you.
Yes.
Yeah. And we will go to the Black Beaches. That will be the last destination. It's after
Twice.
yeah, and then after that we'll go back around Reykjavik and then fly from there.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Which is pretty famous. It's called the Golden Circle.
Yeah.
So you also pass the Blue Lagoon, where I've also been, and also a part of the northwest of Iceland was very, very beautiful. And especially when you have a car, you can of course save a lot of time. You can drive to every place, and you can stay at the place how long you want. So I think that's I mean, the roads are also very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very beautiful in Iceland to drive over there. So it's a very good way to discover Iceland with the car.
We've been planning it for a long time now with him, and we think that the beauty of actually being by ourselves and driving by ourselves in the car, it's what makes it a special friendship trip, you know, because to be in the car with your best friend, you know, driving around Iceland,
Oh yes,
definitely memories for life. Yeah.
I've experienced, because what I just told you, that the second time when I went back to Mexico, my friend Leon, he quit his job as well, and he texted me. He said, Danny, because he've also been traveling 5-6 years ago to Australia, and he wanted to see more of the world, and he told me, like, I'm gonna quit my job and I want to go to you. So because I liked Mexico the first time, I decided to discover the other side of Mexico, and I told him, like, we can go back to Mexico. And you can visit me again, and we're gonna do a road trip from the East Coast to the West Coast.
That's amazing.
And we've been traveling for 5 weeks together, and
Wow.
we calculated that we used the public transport. The buses are very good in Mexico. We calculated that we have been traveling totally like 40-50 hours in the bus.
Wow.
So imagine, like, you're sitting next to each other. You have nothing to do, and you just start conversations about everything, you know, family, friends, love, sex, your mind. It's just
Everything.
every topic you can think about, we have talked about.
That's
And I've already been friends with him for 12 years, and it was for us a really good way to understand each other and to talk about emotions. Because also for me, the last half year changed a lot for me, but also for him, it also happened a lot last year. A very good way also maybe to process things. I mean,
definitely.
if I can example myself, you know, your niece, she broke up with me. It's my ex right now, which was very hard and big impact for me. And I'm sure if I stayed home, if I didn't decide to travel, I would go nuts. I would go crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, traveling was for me a very good way, very, very good way to process it, you know, partly because it's of course not really like we've been 8 years together. You don't like process it in this way. But it's very good extraction. I think that's the word I was searching for. It's very good extraction.
I see what you mean. You're getting out of the whole mind process,
Exactly.
you know, behind it.
So, of course, traveling helped me as well just to process things more, and also to think about yourself. Because when you think, I mean, you're so many times alone in bed, but you also experience like a lot of moments alone. You start thinking. You also gain a lot of self-respect, self-knowledge, like things you want, things you
Wow.
don't want, what you really feel, what you think about, what you want in life. Like I think differently right now, and I feel different, and I think different since I'm traveling.
I can see that. Like
Yes.
you, I know you. I know you for a long time, but I'm sure that people who, for example, your parents probably told you the same, that they can notice that
Even my
you've
friend
changed.
Leon, when he arrived in Mexico, he told
Yeah,
me like you changed a bit.
yeah. That's the beauty of experiencing life, I guess. But yeah, we had this conversation before going. It was, I think, November or something like that, like 8 months ago, 7, 8 months ago.
Something like that.
And you had doubts about actually going on the trip. And we talked about this, and it worked out, I guess, perfectly because we talked about it. And I remember that you thought it's going to influence you in this way. You're going to feel better.
Yes.
You need this, and you've already planned everything. So I'm very happy to sit today here with you.
Thank
And
you. I'm also still happy, as you can see. I'm excited.
yeah.
But yeah, I just knew that if because this trip I was actually going to do with my ex, so
Mhm.
I really worked forward many years to save money to go with my girlfriend back then.
Mhm.
Um, but then she split up just before I started to travel. And that was actually the moment when I told you,
Mhm.
like, you start to think about different things, and then because it's such an impact, you are really like in the you're just thrown in a cave where you have to figure out how you come out. And because it was a dream, and because I wanted to travel for a long time, I knew that I was going to have regrets
Mhm.
later in my life if I
Yeah,
wouldn't do this.
for sure. Yeah. And would you say that the fact that it happened just before the journey made you experience it even harder, even more, to experience it in an even more sensual way, you
Oh, for
know?
sure, yes, for sure.
Wow.
Um, to be really honest, when I started to travel, I mean, the first month was uh, very difficult. It was still difficult, and it is still difficult. Um, it's like a 50-50 feeling. Like I'm walking on a dream. I'm doing my dream right now, what I really worked for. But also emotionally, if you talk about love, it's also, I think, from now on the most difficult period of my life, just to process everything. So um, yeah, it's like trying to find a balance. Meanwhile, you travel,
Mm-hmm.
and to find peace with it, like how you're gonna process it and how you're gonna accept it,
Mm-hmm.
and to continue with yourself
I
alone.
see. Yeah. Wow. This also, did you did you experience any trouble with the fact that you needed to be enough for yourself? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? For example, you're sitting alone in a room, and because we travel about this with Jumir in the previous podcast, and it's actually interesting to talk about it with you as well. Um, have you ever experienced sitting in a room, you feel kind of lonely, and you always call somebody? For example, you call somebody in order to go out, spend time with someone else. Because you traveled alone, did you struggle with being enough for yourself, entertain yourself, you know?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I can entertain myself pretty good, actually, to be honest. Uh, when my ex was going away, or she was in another country,
Mm-hmm.
example, she was back in Bulgaria for a couple of months, a couple of weeks. Um, Back then, I was inviting friends, as
Mm-hmm.
example, and then you're spending time with friends. But when you're traveling, you're not like you're not able to call friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
yes, when you're alone, let's say when you're traveling and you're sitting, let's say in a chilling area at your hostel, um, you always there is always somebody, which is actually not in a bad way, but always somebody who's joining you on the couch, like, hey, how are you? Who are you? What are you doing? And that's good, but sometimes it also feels good to be alone. Um,
Yeah.
but when you travel, you can decide whenever you want to be alone. I mean, if you want to be alone, you book an Airbnb, or you go back to your bed at the hostel, you close your curtains, and you just like be alone.
You know what I found interesting about your traveling experience is that you didn't plan it ahead. You were going with the flow. I mean,
Yes.
you go to Colombia and then you figure it out, right?
Yes.
How did you decide to make your journey this way? I mean,
Well, I knew the places, the pretty touristic places and the nice places where you can go, but I just didn't know in which order I want to travel.
so you kind of you had the idea in your head what you want to visit,
Yes,
and then you thought, okay, I'll go there and I'll see where I can sleep on around this place or around this
exactly.
area.
Yes,
Yeah, and I feel like when you're not pressured with time, for example, you don't have a week or something, then it's easier.
yes, much easier because I've traveled with other
Yeah.
travelers, and they stayed sometimes at a very nice place, only like 2 or 3 nights. And I stayed there like 5 or 6 nights, and they told me like, why are you staying so long here? Most of the times they were just on holiday or on vacation, so they had to go back within 3 weeks. I was traveling for 4 or 5 months, so I had plenty of time.
Oh,
I
see.
said like, when I go somewhere, I want to be chilled, I want to relax, I want to absorb the environment, I want to absorb the place where I am, and I'm not on a rush, you know, and I'm with nice people around me, I'm at a nice hostel or hotel. I want to stay here for a longer time, and it sounds pretty strange, but traveling is making you very exhausted.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, whenever I travel somewhere, especially in a touristic destination where you need to, I mean, it's emotionally draining to be
Also,
honest.
yes.
Yeah, and I feel like emotions and physical well-being is very, very connected.
Yes.
So whenever you experience a lot of new emotions, you're generally tired. Yeah.
Yeah, you also have to learn how to travel. You start to know yourself. The first months, weeks when I traveled in Europe, I stayed at places also for a very short period of time, because you want to see as much as possible in a short period of time. So you're gonna push yourself to the limit, to see the most possible things you can do within your time you're there. And I did that for 1.5 months, and after 1.5 months, I was drained. I was exhausted. I was tired. I even became sick. I was in Poland in Warsaw.
Oh yeah, you told me. Yeah.
I was sick. Because I was not in the mood anymore. I was not in the mood to meet people, because meeting people was also really tiring sometimes. So after 1.5 months, I changed my travel style a bit. And the moment that I went to Mexico, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna travel now. I'm gonna stay at places for a bit of a longer time. I'm gonna not rush myself, and that's what I'm gonna do from now on. And that really helped me. That was much better. That kind of travel style.
Yeah, that's very. I would never think about traveling styles. You know, now talking about you, it's really people do travel in different ways, and you definitely should find you know,
Very
your
comfortable
type.
with. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah, because for example, my aunt, Stanimira, you know her.
Yes.
She's, as my dad say, good tourist. Yeah, she's a good tourist, you know. She can walk like a horse for 2 weeks, no rest. I'm not that type.
No.
I need one day of visiting, see like sights and stuff like that. And then I need my rest, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So different types of traveling, really. You went to a football match in Colombia.
Oh wow, that was
Wow,
amazing.
tell me about this.
Oh wow. I mean, I've been to other football matches here in the Netherlands, of course, and it's pretty strict here, of course.
Yeah.
But I booked with someone I met in my hostel room a tour to the match, and it was one of one of the most important matches, because it was Bogota versus Medellin.
Oh, so it was a local derby.
Like here, Feyenoord Ajax, you know, as
Oh,
example.
wow, yeah.
So yeah, we didn't hesitate and we booked that tour. And some other Dutch people I met also joined. And then we went with a big bus. We went to the stadium, and then we first ate something, we drank something, and I remember we ate something and we were going with the group, maybe 20 to 30 people, towards the stadium. And around the stadium, so much like clubs in the corners, restaurants, people drinking and having parties on the streets. The whole street was full of people selling street food, and
Wow.
with the red uniforms, which is the color of Medellin. And the guy of our guide, he said like, follow me, and we had to find a way, like a pass through all the audience which was outside, and we didn't have to lose him because otherwise we couldn't join the stadium. He said, follow me, and he was like almost running because he was also still excited. And we were running between the audience to the entrance of the stadium, and we had a place with all the local fans of Medellin.
Ooh,
So we sat there for like an hour, and then the match started, and the stadium exploded with singing. They had like this fire distinguished, how do you call it?
distinguished.
Distinguished
Yeah.
with powder color.
I see.
And it exploded in the air with red and blue colors everywhere, and all the powder like slowly came on our faces and clothes, and they had firework. They were singing very loud, and everyone was sitting, or not sitting, but standing on their seat holding flags. And
Wow.
it's just a very different experience.
Can you draw a comparison between the atmosphere here in Europe? Because I've been to many games, as you can see. I have a collection of all my tickets that I've been to different games. But can you draw a comparison between the European atmosphere and the Colombian one?
Yes, maybe a bit. So because we were mixed with tourists and also local fans.
Yeah.
The locals, they saw, of course, that we were gringos. That's how they call us, of course, because we are white. They see that we're international, and they really like that we support their team.
Oh, cool.
So they were really like, looking back to us, making selfies with us, and standing next to each other, learning us songs of the football club.
It's amazing.
And just like it didn't matter, because sport is like united, and lots of people are saying like, don't go to Colombia, go to Mexico because it's very dangerous there. But I never really felt the moment that I really felt like, okay, this is going nuts, or this is going out of the hand dangerously. Felt unsafe. I mean,
even with the prostitute.
Even with the prostitute, I felt I mean, that's a bit of a different story, but if you think clear, if you don't do stupid things, if you don't walk in the night 3-4 o'clock in the midnight alone, then it's all fine.
Yeah, because there is this public opinion and the myth behind that Colombia and Mexico are very, very dangerous places, and they're run by cartels. And
yes.
But you just need to know where you can go and where you can't.
Exactly, and you feel it yourself. I mean, the atmosphere in the stadium is just great, and especially with the local people. And, that the rules, and the laws in the stadium are not that strict as here. Like standing on the rails, and just like throwing everything in the air and holding flags, fireworks, holding crackers, and it was just a very different experience than here in Europe. I mean, if you ever go to a match in Colombia or somewhere else, do it.
I think it's in your vlog, right?
Yes, I think I made some shots of it.
Okay, so people can see it.
Yes, they can see the atmosphere.
It's amazing. Yeah, I remember texting. It was, I think you have the moment with the red powder in the air.
Yes, what I was telling about. Yeah. Yes. I couldn't. I had to throw away my shirt afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, because I couldn't wash it out.
So don't go with your expensive clothes.
Exactly.
Colombian football game.
Exactly.
That's so cool. You experience so much, I swear.
so many things to talk about. I mean, but it's just
Yeah,
impossible to tell everything. And
yeah.
I'm sure in the future when I see you again, I'll say like, oh, wait,
Mhm.
I remember something. I experienced this. I did that and did this. You know.
Damn. To be honest, I can't wait to edit it and to listen to it all over again because I think we had some pretty good points that are gonna stick with me, and very, very valuable experience. Even talking to a person like you who's been traveling. Yeah.
We have many talks left. I mean, many
Oh,
topics
of
left.
course.
I mean,
Talking about this, your car is amazing. I
Thank you, bro.
I love your car.
I'm a
What
car fanatic as well.
Yeah. What car are you driving?
Right now, I'm only having a Golf 1 MK1 from 1984 convertible.
It's amazing.
This car I bought when I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
I like young timers, so it's still a young timer, almost like officially an old timer.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to work on cars, you know,
Mhm.
doing the maintenance and stuff. But I just like to drive around. I just like cars, and when I was 19, I bought that car, and I still have this car.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still because it's more like a summer car, like a second car, because it's really like a convertible. And we talked about it when it's sunny in the Netherlands. I drive this car because I open the roof and I just feel the wind through my hair and just feeling the freedom. I see people smiling on the streets and they putting the thumbs up when I'm on the highway. Like they also find it beautiful when I drive this old car. Also, I experience with this car when I park somewhere and an older guy or older woman is passing by and they say, "Oh, that's a Golf from 1984, right? I also drove this car when I was your age," or as example,
wow.
you know. And then the whole story about the history of the car, what they experienced with the car, is coming by, and you know, people are remembering things when they see old cars again,
Mhm.
and yeah, lots of young people, like maybe my age, are not driving very old cars, but I really would like to see more people, younger people, driving old cars.
Mhm.
It's just very beautiful to see, and I also would like to experience that when I'm older.
Mhm. Yeah.
When I'm looking on the parking place, I also would like to say, "Oh, that car! I did this,
Mhm.
I did that." You know, it's just
Yeah. It's also an investment with a car such as
Yes.
yours. Yeah.
yes. Not all of the models, not all of the brands
Mhm.
are good investments, but at the moment when I bought it, I didn't thought about investments and stuff. I bought the car when I was 19. I just liked the car, and it's getting rare. I mean, lots of those cars are broken or going to the wreck yard and never seen again. And how older the car, how less of those models are going to be in the world. So
Yeah. I can. You know what? Because for me, one of the best things about the car you own right now, is the fact that it's a convertible. In my opinion, at least for me, in the future, to own a convertible is a must, because you use the word freedom, and I believe that when you take the top off, I believe that you feel freedom, the pure sense of freedom, really. Because today we had a 1 hour drive.
yeah, something
I
like that.
feel energized by this 1 hour drive with a
Yeah,
convertible.
and that's also what I like, because every time when I invite or every time when somebody is sitting next to me,
Mm-hmm.
when I start to drive,
Mm-hmm.
I always see a smile. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone is laughing and everyone is like enjoying the sun, enjoying
Mm-hmm.
the wind, and that's what I like about convertible.
Yeah.
And an older car is not that not a lot of technology, of course, but
Yeah.
in this way, I really feel driving.
Very good point. Yeah. You know what? People in Bulgaria, I really respect people who are. You said an old timer. It's becoming an
young
old.
timers,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Exactly. And I really respect people who are buying such cars, because they're feeling drawn to the history of the car
Exactly. Yeah.
itself. Yeah. And also a friend of mine, he drives the mighty W124, the Mercedes.
Yes.
Yes, and you told me that you want one yourself.
Yes.
it's probably the most
Iconic,
iconic,
mafia
exactly,
car.
exactly. And I really respect people like this because nowadays there is the understanding of the newest model and the fastest model you have, the most beautiful car you have, which I believe it's not like that. I mean, if the car means something to you, if the model is important and you have history with it, then any car is it's beautiful and it's nice and it's good to
Exactly,
drive.
it's also
Exactly.
emotional.
Emotional,
You have
yeah.
emotional connection with the car, and you have to
Yeah.
build this emotional connection. I mean, how longer you'll have, how more you drive with it, how more emotional connections you're going to have with the car. And for some people, it doesn't have a value.
Yeah.
Um, I I just remember when I bought the car, when I drove back when I bought it. I mean, like my parents, my girlfriend, my brother said, "What did you buy? Like this is a garbage car."
No.
But now they love it. They like it. Because they've also driving with me, and it's like a building relationship with your car.
Exactly.
It's just more difficult to say goodbye whenever you decide to sell it.
For example, how many thumbs up? Can you compare the number of thumbs up you received with your BMW and with the Golf? Because you also drove a BMW 3rd Series.
Yeah, E92.
335.
Yes.
Was it? It was it was not the diesel engine, right?
No. It was the benzene.
Okay,
the
cool.
petrol. It was very different. It was more like my daily driver, the BMW. And what I said, the Golf I had just had as a young timer just to do hobby-wise, hobby things with
Weekend
maintenance, weekend car,
Yeah.
when it's good weather. You see that people have much more respect for older cars than for newer cars.
I love to see that.
Yes, and that's really nice. I mean, also older people, but also more and more younger people. I was driving to this place. And also on the highway again, there was another Golf, the new generation Golf, you know, the Golf 6 or 7. And, you know, like younger people, probably my age, sitting in there, and they were driving, passing me by, and I was just driving and enjoying the sun and enjoying the wind, and they passed by and they look like this, you know, almost breaking the neck, and they put their thumbs up, you know, and that's
amazing.
Yeah, that's just
Amazing
cool
feeling.
and nice to see.
But yeah, cars. I told you, like the moment I got into the Golf, I was like, okay, Auto Scout 24. I need to
Yes.
buy a convertible. It's a must, really. I will for sure buy a convertible in the future.
I can recommend it for sure. Yes, you should.
We'll see when it's going to be, but yeah, I will.
But it's
Throw
also
everything in
a big compliment to you, by the way, because I really like to see how enthusiastic you are, you know, just to do this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, when you texted me when I was, I think, in Mexico, you said, "Hey, Danny, I'm thinking to start up a podcast. Like, can you give me some advice which microphones or with which equipment I can use?" And of course, I gave you advice, but you also did a lot yourself.
Oh yeah.
And I really like to see that you are really also doing it yourself. Like, you're not waiting for me to reply, like what microphones or what advice I have to give you. You're like me, you're just like doing it, you know, like figuring it out yourself. Like, as example, the software for editing. I mean, I do it for 10 years already. You download it and you just start editing. Like, you don't care. Like, you don't wait for me. But that's really, really nice.
Thank you. And I'm really proud of myself. Thank you for actually noticing, because I'm really also proud of myself because I did everything here, also the editing. I've never had an experience in this type of media industry, but I'm proud of myself that I actually did it, because one morning I woke up. I've always wanted a podcast. I watch a lot of podcasts, and it doesn't really, I'm not doing it for views, or I'm not doing it because I want to become popular or anything like this. I'm doing it from pure interest in this type of media and this field. And also, I believe I am very lucky, and I've had the opportunity to meet amazing people. so far. I'm 21. I think I have the amazing chance to know you, to know a lot of other people who are very influential people and who has they have things to talk about. They're active. They're not like the mass of young people who are not doing anything, scrolling all day on TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. I believe that those people I can interview and I can have a lot of fun actually editing it and learning from them. Because now from this conversation that we had, I believe that while I edit it, I will have a lot of fun and it will be also very beneficial, as I said before.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, podcast, I believe it's going to be, because I haven't posted anything yet. I want to have a couple of podcasts in backup.
That's
because
smart.
yeah,
Yes.
I want to have time to create. But yeah, I have one episode which I completely finished a couple of days ago, and now it's on my laptop. This will be the second one. I'll probably tomorrow.
Watch it. Oh, subscribe.
Yeah. And tomorrow I'll be editing probably the whole day. But this is one. I told you in the supermarket. This is one more thing that my mind is busy with, And the busier you are, the better for your mind, especially at young age, because when we become 30, 35, I won't have time to make podcasts, to start from the beginning. If I have created something and I have laid the base, okay, but now is the time to try different stuff to see if I like it or not. I'm incredibly young. I know that I'm very young, and whatever direction I take, I can easily switch it.
Exactly.
I'm very flexible when I'm 21 years old. When you become 30, you have more responsibilities. With every single year, the responsibilities grow. And I believe now is the time to try different stuff. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this
That's
right now.
That's very important, because you will also not have regrets later that you haven't done it.
Exactly, yeah.
And just about the part when you said that you are able to meet a lot of people, you also have to thank yourself to that, because you also don't need to forget, and that's also where I have a lot of respect for you, and because you're also giving me compliments, so I'm now going to give you a compliment, a shout out, is that you also, we talked about it, lived 7 years in the Netherlands, and Netherlands is also, I mean, the Dutch culture is also very different, and everything around here is very different. That you also live here in The Hague and also have family and friends back home, is that also must take a lot of power, but a lot of emotional intelligence and mindset to go through this time of period. So also for that, I have really much respect for you, that you are also doing that all alone. Well, not really all alone, but you're doing it alone here, and motivating yourself to find work, to have work, to finish your study, and to do this podcast. It's also really amazing, where you can be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. I'm really trying to be. I don't want to be, because, there is that saying that modesty is making the world more beautiful. Okay, that is true, but sometimes you need to tap yourself on the shoulder and say, good job, you did well.
Not everybody can do that.
Exactly, and that's very important thing. I think I'm doing well, and I'm very proud of myself, and thank you for actually saying it, because it's always good to hear, mental health, like, it's very important. It's one of the most important things, especially nowadays. Especially
with younger people, as you said.
Exactly, but it's also great to hear it from someone else,
Yes, but that's not what everybody is realizing. Like maybe like normal Dutch students, they have parents at home, they have friends at home, they have grown up at the neighborhood where they're used to for many years. But maybe they just not always realize that also a lot of international students, maybe within their class, I don't know if you have Dutch people within your class, but not realizing how hard it can be for international people to study somewhere abroad or also to live somewhere abroad.
Yeah, definitely. It is. Živomir is in the same area as me, in the same situation. We've talked about this in another episode. But you know what? I need to look into YouTube because I can now put the, in the up right corner, when I talk about a different episode, it can pop up.
Yeah, like a
No,
pop-up for
stuff
click,
like that.
click on the next
It's
episode.
a completely new thing for me, and I love it. I love it. I made an Instagram page. My girlfriend helped me with
Follow.
follow if you want. I
TikTok.
don't care. Yeah, my girlfriend made a TikTok. Now the YouTube page is ready to begin to start. So yeah, completely different world. I also, you know how in some podcasts they have, for example, we talked about cars, we talked about Colombian prostitutes, we talked about traveling the world, everything.
Cars, yeah.
And they have the different timeline of the podcast, so you can skip to the part you're interested in.
Yes.
I also need to look into
You can separate
how,
the parts in the podcast,
I think so.
especially when you're watching.
But I think that's easy. That's easy to make. I'll see how it
Oh yes,
is
I mean YouTube is pretty
advanced.
advanced and pretty easy to understand. So otherwise, I can always help you with that.
Yeah.